All right, why don't we go to the reading and proclamation of God's word. Let us pray for the illumination of the Holy Spirit. Spirit of the living God, welcome upon your people today. Lord, your power is the only power that we need. So empower us to hear your word read and proclaimed. Empower us to understand it, believe it, and give us the power to live as people who believe. We pray in the name of Jesus, who is the Word made flesh.
Amen.
Amen.
Reading this morning, there's two. The first one is from Exodus chapter 12, verses 1 through 13, and then a few verses from the beginning of chapter 13. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall mark for you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year for you. Tell the whole congregation of Israel that on the 10th of this month they are to take a lamb from each family, one lamb for each household. If a household is too small for a whole lamb, it shall join its closest neighbor in obtaining one. The lamb shall be divided in proportion to the number of people who eat it. The lamb shall be without blemish, a year-old male. You may take it from the sheep or the goats. Keep it till the 14th day of this month. Then the whole assembled congregation of Israel shall slaughter it at twilight. They take some of the blood and put it on the two doorposts until the house in which they eat it. They shall eat the lamb that same night. They shall eat it roasted over the fire with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. Do not eat it raw or boiled in water, but roasted over the fire with its head, legs, and inner organs. You shall let none of it remain until the morning. Anything that remains of the morning you shall burn. This is how you shall eat it. Your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. But you shall eat it hurriedly. It is the Passover of the Lord. For I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will strike down every firstborn in the land of Egypt, both human and animals. On all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgments. I am the Lord. The blood will be a sign for you on the houses where you live. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, and no plague shall destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt." Moses said to his people, "Remember this day on which you came out of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, because the Lord brought you out from there by the strength of hand. No leavened bread shall be eaten. Today, in the month of Abib, you are going out. When the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which is yours, ancestors, and you, the land flowing with milk and honey, you will keep servants this month. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there shall be a festival to the Lord. Unleavened bread shall be eaten for 7 days. No leavened bread shall be seen in your possession. No leaven shall be seen among you in all your territory. You shall tell your child on that day, it is because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. It shall serve for you as a sign on your hand and as a reminder on your forehead, so that the teaching of the Lord may be on your lips. With a strong hand the Lord brought you out of Egypt. You shall keep this ordinance at its proper time from year to year." The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
And the second reading from the Gospel according to Luke chapter 22, verses 14 through 17. Jesus gathers with his disciples in the upper room. When the hour came, he took his place at the table, the apostles with them. He said to them, "I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I come. For I tell you, I will not eat it again until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God." Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he said, "Take this cup and divide it among yourselves. For I tell you that from now on I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes." Then he took a loaf of bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. My voice is not going to hold up very long at this volume. So, as a reminder, 2 weeks ago, we started a series where we're reflecting on what do God's people do in times of trouble. These are certainly troubled times we're living in right now. God's people have faced different kinds of trouble throughout history. And we have a rich story that shows us how God equips people to endure and to persevere, even to thrive in times of trouble. We heard the story of Abram, who was doubting God's plan for his life. He felt like things weren't going the way they were supposed to. He doubted himself and he doubted God. God took him out into the night to show him the stars. And for us, it's a reminder that sometimes we need to acknowledge the difficult circumstances that we find ourselves in, the difficult feelings and emotions that we live with. We need not to rush through them, but allow them to teach us something about ourselves or about God or about other people. We need to enter those dark seasons with openness. Last week we heard about Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, sold into prison. To remember that no matter how difficult our circumstances are, we each have God given gifts. And it's easy when we're in hard times to forget our gifts. But Joseph used his gifts and they were part of his deliverance. He also reminds us that no matter how difficult the external circumstances are, when we use our gifts, God shows up with power. God shows up with power when we use the gifts, when we believe in it and use the gifts that God has given us. So this week we come to the story of God's people and the birth of their deliverance from Egypt. The Pharaoh that elevated Joseph's power has come. And the Pharaoh after that, and one after that, and one after that, they forgot about it.
So there's your story. I think that we have power.
So it's been maybe 300 years since Joseph died. All those pharaohs have forgotten about Joseph. They see the Israelites as a threat. They begin to oppress them. The Israelites become slaves in Egypt. They cry out to God. God hears their cry and sends Moses to deliver them. It takes 9 plagues at this point, and Pharaoh still won't listen to Moses. When we come to the story, it's on the eve of the 10th plague. This is the plague that will change the heart of Pharaoh. That will be the deliverance of Israel. So you could say we're at a good moment in the story. This is so much a time of trouble. It's a moment when God's people are about to become free. But it's also a moment of fear. God is about to act in a very overwhelming sort of way. There's this trouble in their that is very much still in their present. And God gives the people a rule. He gives them very specific, some maybe even odd instructions about how to kill and cook and eat a lamb. Roast it, don't boil it. Make sure you're wearing your shoes, holding your staff in your hand, don't have any leftovers, because tomorrow you are leaving. He gives them these very specific instructions on how to observe this feast. But then God tells them, don't just do this tonight. Do this next year on this day, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. Do it forever. To this day, the Jewish people still observe this ritual, the Passover ritual. At this moment, in a moment of great transition, God gives them a ritual. I think, folks, so they will remember where they have been and to help them get where they're going. So what I want to talk about today for us is the power of rituals. the importance of these things that we do again and again and again. David says that a ritual is a sequence of actions that symbolically walk us through an inner change that we need when we have an outer change in our lives. So rituals often mark doorway moments when you're passing from one stage of life to the next. Think about our modern rituals. At a wedding, we exchange rings. It's a ritual for joining of two lives. At a Jewish bar or bat mitzvah, they have rituals that signify the coming of age, the movement of a young person from childhood into adulthood. In the Cambodian tradition, they have a 100 days service after someone dies. We've observed it in our own congregation. It's a ritual for marking the passage from this life into the next life. So we know about rituals that mark transitions, big, significant transitions. This ritual, this Passover ritual, is a ritual to help the people go from slavery, enslavement, to freedom. They need to make that real, not only on the outside, but in their hearts. They need to know on the inside what it means to be free. Just like we need to know, great. We need to know on the inside what it means to merge one life with another, or to move from childhood or to adulthood. We need to know on the inside how to let our loved ones pass into the next life. That's the gift of rituals. They help us through transition. They're God's gifts to us. We also have more everyday kinds of rituals. And I think these are the kinds of rituals that really sustain us in times of difficulty. Maybe your family says the same prayer every night when you gather for dinner. You all sit at the same place at the table every time. That's a dinner time family ritual. If you've had experience in the Roman Catholic Church and you pray the rosary and you feel the beads in your hand as you pray, that's a ritual, a daily ritual for prayer. If you're an athlete, you might have a ritual for your athletic endeavors. I read one anecdote this week about a Taekwondo black belt. Every time he puts on his belt, before he ties it, he kisses it. It's not superstition. It's a reminder to himself to do his best every time he puts on that belt. It's a ritual. Serena Williams bounces her tennis ball 5 times before her first serve. It's a ritual that reminds her why she's there, that centers her, that focuses her. Those are secular rituals. But they're examples for us of the power of ritual to guide us. They help us in times of change internalize a new reality. But they also take our spiritual lives and make them concrete. When we practice ritual, we're not just in our heads. We're in our bodies. We're in our hands and our feet. We're in the food that we put in our mouths. We're in the words that we speak. Sometimes we reject rituals. Our Protestant culture isn't as rich in ritual as Catholic culture or Jewish culture. Sometimes we reject them because we don't actually believe the things they mean anymore. Let me give you an example. When we do weddings now, when I officiate a wedding, an old wedding ritual is that the father walks the bride down the aisle and the pastor would say, "Who gives this woman to be married?" Well, I don't know about you, but most people I know don't really believe that a woman belongs to her father anymore. She's not his property to give away as he pleases. So we've adapted that ritual in our tradition. I invite both families to stand, and I ask them if they give their blessing to this couple. Man and woman, both people in the couple come themselves to be married, but they ask the blessing of their families. So it's an adaptation of an old ritual because we don't have the same belief anymore about how a woman belongs to her father. Sometimes, though, we don't want to just throw the whole ritual out, right? Because the ritual is important. That symbolic joining of two families is important.
Sometimes we change our rituals to bring us into a new reality, and that's exactly what Jesus does with the Passover feast. Here's a ritual that Jesus, as a Jewish man, has been practicing his whole life. But he knows that a new thing is being born, and that they will need a new ritual to help them live into that new reality. So he takes this old tradition and he gives it new meaning. And that's the ritual that we have inherited as the Lord's Supper. And we've been practicing it. We've been practicing it for 2,000 years. Thank you. So as we make our way through this pandemic, as we wrestle with the divisions that seem unavoidable in our current political moment, we may need some new rituals to help us make sense of what's going on in our world, new rituals to connect us with God's work and God's power even in this moment. Maybe we need a ritual for mask wearing. Maybe every time we put on our masks, we can say to ourselves, "Let me do unto others as I would have them do unto me." We can put on our masks and remember that we do it as an act of generosity and kindness for our neighbors. Maybe we need a ritual for hand washing. We do that a lot these days. It could be as simple as saying the Lord's Prayer every time you wash your hands. Maybe we need rituals for homeschooling, a new way to start the school day. If you're working from home now, maybe you need a new ritual for the way you start and end your day because you don't leave the house to go to the office anymore. As I thought about that, you know who I thought of? Mr. Rogers. Every day when Mr. Rogers came into his house, he took off his coat and put on his cardigan. He changed his shoes. That was a ritual. When we see Mr. Rogers do that, we know he's home. He's here for us. We are the only thing that matters to Mr. Rogers in this moment. Is there a ritual that you need when you move from your, when you sit down, in my case, sit down at my dining room table to do my work for the day? Do I need to still kiss Eric goodbye and say, "I'll see you later, I hope you have a good day"? Our old ritual. So I invite you to think about what those rituals are that you could work into your life in this new pattern. Either old rituals that you can return to or new everyday rituals to remind you that God is with you in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of political discord, in the midst of the work for racial justice. And maybe we also need to recommit to old rituals. The church has a long history of a ritual of praying at certain times of the day. 6 in the morning, 9 in the morning, noon, 3 in the afternoon, 6 at the end of the workday, again before you go to bed. Maybe you're not quite ready for 6 times a day, but could you commit to a ritual of praying once a day at the same time, no matter what you're doing? It's been part of my practice with the 10 o'clock morning prayer, Monday through Friday. That's not been something I did before the pandemic, but it provides a ritual for me to stop and say, let's remember that God is with me today. Let me remember that I'm part of a broader community today. When things are in turmoil, when we find ourselves moving from an old reality into a new one, we turn to rituals like what we will celebrate today at the Lord's Supper, though in a modified style, right? An old ritual, familiar words that remind us that we belong to a rich history, that God has been moving in the life of God's people for thousands of years, and that God is still in control. And we take this ritual with us into the future to remind us that God will be our God, and we will be God's people. I pray that in your everyday life, in our life together as a community, we can celebrate these rituals as we celebrate the power of God at work for us, so that past, present, and future, we can be the people that God calls us to be. May it be so. Amen. I've invited Tisan to say a few words in Khmer as well. So we will hear the word proclaimed in Khmer before we turn to our celebration at the table.
God និយាយកន្លះម៉ោងជាងឲ្យខ្ញុំនិយាយបន្តិចដឹកមិននិយាយបានប៉ុណ្ណាទេបើខ្ញុំព្យាយាម I will try my best to summarize what you just said. Hopefully I get it right. Okay គាត់ប្រហែលជាពីអាទិត្យមុនហ្នឹងយើងបានដឹងហើយការសិក្សាអំពីជីវិតរបស់លោកអាប់រ៉ាហាំជីវិតរបស់លោកយូសេបទោះបីជាគាត់មានការទុក្ខលំបាកវេទនាយ៉ាងណាក៏ដោយប៉ុន្តែព្រះនៅតែនៅជាមួយពួកគាត់ជាប់ជានិច្ចព្រះនៅតែប្រទាននៅអំណាចឲ្យពួកគាត់ហើយនៅអំណោយទានដើម្បីឲ្យពួកគាត់ឆ្លងកាត់នៅការទុក្ខលំបាកវេទនានៃជីវិតរបស់គាត់ទាំងអស់នោះហើយការសិក្សាព្រះគម្ពីរថ្ងៃនេះនិយាយអំពីពួកសាសអ៊ីស្រាអែលរាប់ពាន់ឆ្នាំកន្លងមកហើយធ្វើជាទាសករនៅស្រុកអេស៊ីបប៉ុន្តែព្រះទ្រង់បានឮអំពីការទុក្ខលំបាកវេទនារបស់គេទ្រង់បានចាត់លោកម៉ូសេដើម្បីឲ្យជំលះគេចេញអំពីទាសកម្មទាំងអស់នោះប៉ុន្តែមុននឹងពួកគេចេញមកទាសកម្មគឺមានការទុក្ខលំបាកជាច្រើនទោះបីជាមានការទុក្ខលំបាកជាច្រើនយ៉ាងណាក៏ដោយព្រះគង់នៅជាមួយពួកគេហើយទ្រង់បានប្រទាននៅអំណោយទានដល់គេហើយដូចជាមានការជំងឺអាសន្នរោគមួយជំងឺអាសន្នរោគគេថាការទុក្ខលំបាករបស់គេមុននឹងគេចេញពីប្រទេសអេស៊ីបមកគឺព្រះទ្រង់សម្ដែងនៅបរិហារ9យ៉ាងហើយដល់ទី10បាននៃគេអនុញ្ញាតឲ្យពួកគេចេញស្ដេចអេស៊ីបបានអនុញ្ញាតឲ្យពួកសាសអ៊ីស្រាអែលចេញពីស្រុករបស់គេប៉ុន្តែមុននឹងគេចេញនោះព្រះទ្រង់បានធ្វើនៅពិធីបុណ្យនៅក្នុងការអធិប្បាយរបស់គាត់នេះយើងឮអំពីពាក្យថាពិធីបុណ្យឬក៏ការពិធីប្រារព្ធធ្វើនៅអ្វីមួយដូច្នេះពិធីបុណ្យដែលគេធ្វើនៅជំនាន់នោះព្រះទ្រង់មានបន្ទូលថាចូលធ្វើពិធីនេះឲ្យនឹកចាំជារៀងរាល់ឆ្នាំពិធីបុណ្យនោះគឺពិធីបុណ្យរំលងពិធីបុណ្យរំលងហ្នឹងគឺជានៅក្នុងភាសារបស់យើងប្រើសប្តាហ៍ថ្ងៃហ្នឹងដូចជាគំញូញៀនយ៉ាងហើយកន្លះសាប់ប្រើពេលនោះពិធីបុណ្យនៃបុណ្យរំលងនោះគឺជាខ្ញុំប្រើពាក្យមួយគឺជាអាហារពេលល្ងាចទី1ដែលព្រះទ្រង់បង្រៀនដល់ពួកគេហើយទ្រង់បានមានបន្ទូលឲ្យចូលធ្វើពិធីនេះជារៀងរាល់ឆ្នាំរំលឹកអំពីគេមកពីណាហើយទៅណាហេតុអីនេះគឺសំណួរឲ្យដល់ពេលចុងក្រោយមកទៀតពេលដែលព្រះយេស៊ូវគ្រីស្ទទ្រង់បានធ្វើពិធីបុណ្យរំលងជារៀងរាល់ឆ្នាំក្នុងពេលដែលទ្រង់បានគង់នៅលើផែនដីនេះប៉ុន្តែមុនដែលទ្រង់បានសគត់ហើយនឹងរស់ឡើងវិញទ្រង់បានធ្វើពិធីលៀងព្រះអង្គម្ចាស់ជាចុងក្រោយជាមួយនឹងពួកសាសហើយទ្រង់បានបង្វែរអំពីអត្ថន័យនៃពិធីបុណ្យពីមុនពិធីបុណ្យចាស់នោះឲ្យคล้ายទៅជាអត្ថន័យថ្មីវិញគឺអត្ថន័យថ្មីនេះគឺឲ្យពួកគេចងចាំថាអ្វីដែលព្រះទ្រង់បានរៀនពួកគេជារាប់ពាន់ឆ្នាំកន្លងមកហើយនោះបានសម្រេចនៅវត្តមានថ្មីនៅក្នុងជីវិតរបស់ផងទ្រង់គឺព្រះយេស៊ូវគ្រីស្ទដូចជាកូនជាមដែលគេសម្លាប់ធ្វើពិធីបុណ្យរំលងព្រះយេស៊ូវគ្រីស្ទគឺជាកូនជាមដែលទ្រង់នឹងសគត់នៅលើឈើឆ្កាងហើយឈឺចាប់ដើម្បីការឈឺចាប់របស់គេដូចជារបស់យើងដែរហើយទ្រង់បានសគត់នៅលើឈើឆ្កាងដើម្បីអំពើបាបរបស់គេក៏ដូចជាអំពើបាបរបស់យើងដែរដូច្នេះពិធីបុណ្យឬក៏ពិធីប្រារព្ធនេះព្រះយេស៊ូវគ្រីស្ទទ្រង់មានបន្ទូលថាដរាបណាដែលអ្នកធ្វើនៅពិធីនេះពិធីបុណ្យពិធីប្រារព្ធនៃនំប៉័ងទឹកពាំងបាយជូរនេះចូលរំលឹកអំពីខ្ញុំដូច្នេះពិធីបុណ្យគឺពិធីប្រារព្ធទាំងអស់នោះគឺរំលឹកអំពីអត្ថន័យណាមួយដូច្នេះដែលគាត់បាននិយាយអំពីពួកយើងនៅជាទំនៀមទម្លាប់ខ្មែរហ្នឹងក៏មានពិធីបុណ្យពិធីប្រារព្ធនោះมันខុសគ្នាដែរឧទាហរណ៍ថាអ្នកណាមួយដែលធ្វើមរណកាលទៅស្លាប់ទៅយើងធ្វើបុណ្យមិនអញ្ចឹងធ្វើបុណ្យ anh ấy nè 3 ngày khôi mau 7 ngày khôi mau 100 năm ở trong 100 năm 100 ngày khôi mau cứ rung lắc ông pi chỉ vớt nè nòng đại chỉ vớt nè nòng cứ nơi anu savri bao cọt nơi trong chân ông phụ dương này hay srop sẽ đây mau cái tha bị thi bon nơi cô bị thi pro rục ní vừa ở dương đăng ông pi tao dương mau bị nà hết đây bây dương nơi tì nỉ hai dương tao gì nà hai ở tiêu họ pi về liền đi cứ dương cua rung lắc bảo sinh từประมาณ năm khôi máu dương pẹ mà giống á hai đấy bao dương pẹ mà pẹ cà pia khuôn dương phó nó cà pia nè là tây phòng hỏi bảo sinh chia ngày khôi từ sọc xa nơi dù dương cua pẹ mà đong đây rung lắc đâm đây rung lắc tha dương pẹ trung mang bát tiêm nào tiền là dương pẹ trung mang bát tiêm làm nai là dương oi dương miên chỉ vật rùa đứa con miên làm nào tiền mỗi tiền cái theo cần gì cả liên đại tụi miên loại cả liên đại dương cua vừa liên đại cua từ than chung cua xa ở vậy dương vừa chia bị thi tụm loa cái thằng bị thi tụm loa đi có bị thi bẩn đang bay rung lắc âm pi dương mau bị ná hay đây bây dương nơi tìm ý hỏi dương từ lọt từ nà đôi khi nhom srop sẽ đây mau cái thà sầm khăn thoát cứ nơi nông bị thi bẩn nông bang tự bang bài chủ ní cứ chia tụm loa môi loa pon năm mà hỏi Presu Christ trong bằng riêng ở dương vừa chia riêng loa pe về lìa bị thi bẩn ní đi có bị thi bẩn rục nơi bị thi ní đam bay rung lắc dương ta dương chia một đôi giang nà hỏi Presu Christ trong sầm cua dương đòi vị thi ấy được chứ nhom phải chọc nó thầm đi chưa vào sầm mò cồn I think I do good
I don't know.